Coming up on this episode of Common Denominator.
No one's running up to a black house saying, hey, take a picture of me. Like human beings need color. We love color. But color is scary for most people.
Hi, and welcome to Common Denominator, where we shine a light on people striving to make the world a better place. I just spoke with Maria Killam, a home design guru who specializes in color. Maria and I just finished a really fun episode. And what really stood out to me is, you know what you should do? You should embrace color in your home. I know every next person is doing a black and white home, but you know what? Step into yourself, step into that color, and check out the episode. Hi, Maria, and welcome to Common Denominator.
Thank you.
So I'm seeing this now, here in I live in Miami Beach, and every next house is just designed kind of like this box, and everything's just black and white and just very, surgical, or I don't know. It just doesn't work for me. First of all, why is that the trend nowadays? And I know from us speaking before that that's not something that you're a fan of. And will it stay that way for a long time coming?
Well, I'm not a fan because it's the overuse of the trendy neutral in any given decade that just makes everything so bad. And so, and there's nothing stronger than black, right? And, I think that when white first came along as well, when white first came along and I started seeing all these buildings painted white, I thought, yeah, like that looks fresh. I mean, it does. I get it. But then everyone decided that it looks just as good and they're not over it. And so, I mean, this trend, before it's over, it is really marring our landscape right now. It's, somebody had even said, we're voluntarily following the rules of an HOA.
In my mind, I think of, black or white is just this neutral, but if you could pull off colors, I love colors, it's good. It works, Well,
when people go to Europe, right? I mean, and you go to Florence and you go to, all those towns in Italy, and they all are painted such beautiful colors. I mean, that's what we're taking pictures of. That's what we're videoing. That's what we're running up and, let's get a picture here in front of this fabulously colored building. I mean, that's not happening. No one's running up to a black house saying, hey, take a picture of me. Like human beings need color. We love color. But color is scary for most people. And I think especially in North America, I'd have to say. But although I think social media has taken this trend further than usual, because in 2019, the summer of 2019, I was in Finland because that's my heritage. And my mom and I were driving to some relatives through the countryside, and suddenly we saw this big black monolith. Well, it was this shopping center that was being built, and it was completely black, the whole thing, like just black, the whole thing. So I thought, wow, it's even in Finland. That's crazy.
So if we want to go away from that, because I know when I bought my house, I felt like I was taking a risk. It's a classy, I guess, more Mediterranean style. And again, everything in Miami Beach is more this boxy, again, black and white and steel. Everything just seems that way. And I said, wow, I don't know if my house is going to keep value. And now I'm seeing, this was about 3.5 years ago, I'm seeing that classy, you talk about, European design actually probably will stand the test of time, where the other type of designs will change. But if someone wanted to change from that, what their neighbors, everyone's doing this black and white, what would be practical tips, and how does someone find their color trends for their interiors?
So most people have colors. They have colors and neutrals opposite. So most people think that neutrals are timeless and that colors are trendy. But at the end of the day, I have a yellow sofa, for example, in my living room, and it's on its third makeover. I've had it for 13 years, yet nobody could actually tell me when I bought my yellow sofa. However, if I had a black sofa in there, or if I had a charcoal gray sofa in there, or a brown sofa in there, people would be like, oh, you bought your brown sofa during the Tuscan brown trend. That's exactly right. Right. So in actual fact, like my favorite story was when the Ritz in Paris did I think it was a $600 million renovation about 4 or 5 years ago. And, we have the turquoise and red, suite. We have the blue and yellow lobby, the whole hotel is this beautiful, colors everywhere. Well, when does the Ritz Hotel need to renovate? Well, when it's threadbare, right? But you go into any other hotel anywhere in North America and you can immediately tell, oh, okay, this has just had a renovation. It's black and white. Oh, this is a brown hotel. It's 20 years old. So in actual fact, adding color to your, world and painting your exterior a color, which is easy to do with a black and white house. Like in the Tuscan trend, when that whole period happened, everything was really blotchy and earthy. You have to work with your stone if you're going to repaint your house. You can't pick whatever color you want. But the black and white farmhouse, you actually have a lot of range. There's a lot of range. Not every color looks good with black, right? Yellow and black without enough white is a bumblebee. Orange and black without enough white is Halloween. But there's a lot of range. And so, now, should you paint your house fuchsia if you're in a black and white neighborhood? No, but there are other options. You could even pick other neutrals at this point that would make your house look different from the other white house next to you and the black house on the other side.
And what would you say? For, I have a bunch of kids, and we have a lot of different bedrooms. Would you just go with, whatever's going on in the child's mind?
Yes, I would. I mean, here's the thing. Kids tend to, if you leave a kid to their own devices to pick their own color, they tend to pick a color that's super bright, too bright. Mm-hmm. But that's what adults do as well. That's the very first mistake that a color consultant will make is they will pick, if they're choosing paint, actual colors over neutrals, they tend to pick a cleaner color because they don't realize that every color gets twice as bright and light when it goes up on the wall. And I really do think that a child's bedroom is their own personal space, while as, our living rooms, our kitchens, our great rooms, there are spaces, and that's why they get priority for decorating. And that's why the primary bedroom is the most neglected room in the house, because we decorate the living room, we decorate the great room, and then we decorate the kids' rooms because that's their personal space. So I think kids should be allowed to have some, they should be able to express themselves with their paint color in their room. I mean, the sad thing now is so many parents are just insisting on painting their children's rooms, all these neutral colors. I mean, my favorite soundbite story was I was looking at a video where this, home renovator was taking down a fan, and her 5-year-old daughter's chirping in the background, "Mom, are you going to paint it black?" And she's showing this as if yes, aren't I brilliant? No, you now have a spinning spider up there. That's what you have.
And just a tip, I was thinking about this. If you make your kids, if they choose their color, and let's say they choose their pajamas and they choose their bed, if they've been sleeping, let's say parents, right? They've been sleeping in your bed and you want to get them to sleep in their bed, you make the environment super happy and good for them, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So good.
Right.
Absolutely.
So I know that was a big one. And right now, I'm also working on, and I've been at this, haven't made a choice because we're human and it takes us so long to make decisions, but figuring out about paintings or photos in the interior. So how do I, just thinking about it myself, I mean, how do I...
You mean how do you get art up on the wall?
Art up on the wall. Because that's just a thing, and it seems tough for me and my wife.
I am so glad you asked that question because it's so funny. So the last 2 weeks I was on vacation, and the first week I was with my sisters and my mom at the lake in a cottage. And then my sister's like, "Hey, come with me to see my friends in Calgary." So these are family friends, and we get there and they're a young couple in their 30s. The husband's a pilot, and she's an executive in the airline industry. And his whole thing is, can we just get some art on the walls? Can we get our diplomas, our awards, our just personal things. He had his dad with some medals, and she would not hang anything because why? Because she's afraid of making a mistake. She's afraid of putting holes in the wrong place in her freshly painted house. They built the house 4 years ago, but he's for 52 months, we have no art on the wall. So anyway, went straight to HomeSense, So they actually had a couple pieces of original art, right? But you've got a big wall. You need more than just a couple pieces. So we brought that art straight there. So home goods for you guys. And we like matched it all up. And oh my gosh, like it created this big gallery wall. Like people, here's the thing. And then I posted this on my Instagram. And I always get the people that are like, oh, but why are you buying these like, meaningless objects? And like, for example, she had two bookshelves. She had two shelves on both sides. They were not bookshelves. They were more like art boxes, right? Because they weren't really big enough for books. So she had all these tiny little objects in them. So then we got bigger ones and we did a whole thing and we created some balance. And, people were like, oh, like, why are you doing that? Like, why would you get some meaningless objects? And, I said, well, but they were meaningless before, but they were the wrong size. Okay. Now they're the right size. Now, because they're the right size, we've now created a look and a feel. And the minute you get that art up on the wall, oh my gosh, like, yeah, like suddenly you have a feeling. So here's what you do. If you have one piece of original art, for example, take that with you because you need more to get you can't just slap that one piece up on the middle of the wall, right? That looks bad. So take it with you and treat it like wallpaper. People get all freaked out. Why are you putting art on the wall that doesn't mean something? Well, but not everything you like when you buy wallpaper, it's not like you went to Italy personally and picked it out. No, you picked out the wallpaper, you put it on the walls. So treat your art from HomeSense or Home Goods like wallpaper. Go out with that, so what we did for her upstairs, well, so now we can't see it, but it was so fabulous. She had this white sofa and, we got there and I started pulling out all these neutral pieces and then we got some art to match it, threw in some yellow. We, at 11:30 at night, I'm ordering the men around. I'm like, you guys, okay, there's two shelves in the office. They can't be there. Move them to the other side. We can't look at them when we first walk in. Anyway, and my sister comes up to me. She goes, okay, like they're not happy. I said, I don't care. Like, get it done. Like I was there for 4 days. We shopped. We went to like 8 HomeSenses. The place is styled. There is like it. She's just like beside herself. It's so fabulous. And, and so I would like to take the stigma away from like, oh my gosh, everything has to mean something. No, because if you do not have art on the walls and if you do not have tablescapes and vignettes that are created by coffee table books that give you a pedestal for your objects, you do not have a look and a feel. And you can have the most expensive house filled with the most expensive furniture, but if you don't have it styled, you have no look and feel.
If you're just joining us, you're listening to the Common Denominator podcast. My guest is Maria Killam, a color and design expert. Next week, I'll speak with a guy who inline skated across the United States of America in 45 days. Louis Shakes rollerbladed from Venice Beach to Times Square to raise money for a rare and often fatal disease and set a world record in the process. His incredible journey next week. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss it. Now, back to the show. Do you have a favorite color? Because it seems like, is it yellow? Is that your favorite?
Yes.
I figured.
Yeah. But I don't wear yellow all the time, but I happen to be wearing it
because I know you mentioned it. You mentioned the style because I like that. My wife has this this like intense green and purples that she likes, and that's just what it is. And I think that is actually an expression of what's inside. Like colors can actually, and your clothing and what you wear actually can express that. And I know you also have a very successful e-design business. How does that work? Kind of virtually working with clients. How does that practically work? What does that entail?
So, because I invented the system for understanding undertones, which is this neutral color wheel here. So once you understand my system, because basically this connects to 50 other neutral paint colors and whites. So once you, we can look at any space. We know, okay, they have a pink beige sofa. They have a green beige sofa. They've got a green gray carpet. So people send in photos because, cameras are so good now. People send in pictures taken in good natural light with no flash, of course. And, once I have 80 photos of any given sort of space, whatever it is we're working on, I can see what the overall undertone is. And basically what people hire me for is to give them the right colors for everything for their new build or their renovation or create a classic kitchen, create a classic bathroom, because timeless is also a big part of my of my look. And what people are not doing right now is they're doing everything furthest from timeless.
And what do you actually do? Let's say a client is, is dead set on a certain design, and you instinctively, from your life experience, you're like, you know what, this guy is way off. How do you, what's the logistics of that? The guy's like, no, I'm going to paint this and I'm going to do that. And you're like, okay.
Well, here's the thing, right? I've been doing this for 25 years. I can take one look at any space. I know why you're annoyed. I know why this room is bothering you. You think it's over here, but I'm saying it's this. So what I teach people also in my live workshops is how to explain the reason why your specifications are correct. So you might have all kinds of fangled ideas and you can still do what it is that you want. It is your house, but I'm going to tell you why it's a bad idea and why my idea is better. And because I can tell you that, you can now sleep at night.
Let me ask you this. When you walk in, because again, the 25 years of experience, I mean, when I think of things that, just take a piece of real estate and I'm walking on the street, there's certain things that I look at.
Yeah.
Yourself as an interior design expert and color expert, when you're walking to a restaurant or a hotel, are there things that just pop in your head and you can't turn that off? You're like, that shouldn't be there, or that should be there. Does that play in your head?
Oh, it's constant.
Right.
I mean, it's constant.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I see the world from, it's because when you're new, it's interesting as a new decorator, working at Benjamin Moore, helping people, pick paint colors. People would come in the store and they'd show me their countertop and they'd show me their backsplash. And I would think to myself, I remember having this moment in the store thinking, okay, that backsplash does not look like it goes with the countertop at all. But maybe when I get to the point where I'm really good at this, I'll be able to know instantly what the right backsplash should be. And guess what it is? It's called Subway tile, kids. Okay. It's called white or cream, the end. That's it. That's your backsplash. This is not hard.
Yeah,
truly, people think it has to be so creative. And then they throw in their creative backsplash and everyone hates it when they move in. Everyone's ripping out everybody else's creative ideas where it's just subway tile. That's the answer. I mean, and that's what I learned over 4-year period of being in thousands of homes. And everyone's always like, oh, I really hate this backsplash. Oh, I really hate this surround. Oh, how do we work with this? How do we work with that? We're twisted. We're turning like this. Okay. Oh, okay. It's blue. That's what's going to work with this one. It's just create a neutral white or cream backdrop, and then you can do whatever you want. But when you start getting too crazy and people think they need to pour all their creativity into their hard finishes, and then they run out and buy a neutral sofa and they're all scared. Well, why weren't you scared when you were putting in your really bad geometric black and white backsplash? That's when you should have been scared.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's definitely a whole science, because I'm sure it definitely creates a certain mood that you have as a being in your space, and that's right. And you think about bedrooms that you're in, and probably that's even less, right? You're thinking about that less, and you should be thinking about that more, because between your actual master bedroom and the kitchen, I think, right, those are the two spaces that actually you spend the most time. But I don't know how much time you actually spend. Yeah. Designing that, right? And then it's the family room where you barely spend time, but you're sitting there all cranial, right? Right? Thinking about. So Maria, what is something that you're grateful for?
I recently moved into the most fabulous house. I thought that we thought we had to build for years. We were in our last house for 4 or 5 years longer than we should have been, given what I do. I need to constantly be showing that I know what I'm doing. And we found this fabulous house and we love it so much. So I'm grateful for my new house. I'm also super grateful for my long-term relationship I've had with my wife, who is my, she's the wind behind me, beneath my wings. She's that person. So yeah, that's what I'm grateful for. Yeah.
Amazing. And what is something about you that people don't know?
Oh, that I'm really, that I hate waste. I'm the person that when I make juice, I have way too much water in it. When I'm spreading something on a piece of bread, I hate waste like that. I will go out of my way to reuse things. Yeah, I don't know. So I don't think people really know that.
I think we got that. No, but I think we got that. I have that too. And so does my wife. From our childhood, I think we saw that, right? It's it may be,
maybe.
it's just saving
I grew up poor.
right.
So maybe might be why, right?
It's just,
Yeah.
yeah. But it's a good trait.
Yeah.
Everything in balance.
That's right.
But
Yeah.
thank you so much. Really, me as a layperson and novice, now I'm thinking, okay, there's a lot of art I got to hang up, a lot of colors I got to do in my house,
Yes.
and hopefully we gave some great information to the audience. And I want to thank you. How can people find out more about you and help with help on their interior design?
Yes. Well, you can find me at mariakillam.com, KILLAM. Yeah. Or at Instagram or at Maria Killam is most of my handles on social media.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
It's really been a pleasure.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. Hope you enjoyed my conversation with Maria Killam. Next week, I'll speak with Louis Shakes. As a child, Louis survived a disease which caused his skin to literally fall off of his body in sheets and almost killed him. Last year, to raise awareness about the disease, he did something extraordinary. Louis rollerbladed across the United States in 45 days, setting a world record and covering over 2,000 miles. He'll tell us about his incredible adventure. Please subscribe to the show so you don't miss an episode and follow me on social media at @Popack. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you again soon.